And that was
Yeah, you
just
guys scared all the girls away. What's going on?
boys.
All right. So
Mostly because I was trying to use their lipsticks.
Nick, quickly think of an outline for the show.
I would draw a box and call that the outline.
Good job.
You have a
So
box and draw that thing
this
out
was
on.
your idea to
I
come
know.
talk to Rob. I've never met Rob before, and I feel like he might not care for me yet.
No, I like you. hey, no, I like you. Don't.
No, yeah, give it time. Then you really won't like him.
Is that a real tattoo? You're like, I'm gonna put love on my arm.
Yes. Was that really you wearing slippers in my studio?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then
Are we
then we're
recording
on.
this?
No, it wasn't.
It was recorded on the video, not the
Wait,
audio.
why can't I wear slippers?
Why can't I have a tattoo?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Maybe it was one of those temporary tattoos, or maybe you just got crazy with a Sharpie earlier today.
No. I can talk about my tattoos if you'd like to learn more. Because you seem very curious about it. I can gladly tell you the story of why I have this on my arm.
Nick doesn't know if he wants you to tell a story or not.
I don't
mean,
want
if
to
you
say
wanna
any
hear the
more
story, I mean, it's
words.
not like we're recording something where it's a conversation. It's called a podcast. So I don't know if you want to listen to that story. You guys came here to talk, so I don't know. I mean, I'll tell my story of it if you're really interested.
You seem to want to tell the story of your tattoo.
No.
Yes, you
I don't
do.
really care.
How about you tell the story of one of your arms, and then the other arm we save for another time?
Oh, like a sequel. So
Right.
next time I come on, like you can talk about my other arm.
Yes. Or did you get both arms simultaneously?
No, that would have been. My pain tolerance is so low that there's no way I could have done that.
Did you
That would have
get?
been like 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of
Did you get
time.
both things on one arm at the same time?
I got each arm done at a time.
Okay.
So arm one was 1 day, and then 2 weeks later I got the other arm.
And you just is this recorded? We're reeling on the show.
I don't know. I started hitting record as
Cool.
soon as I sat
Okay,
down.
That's great.
I watched a friend one time get a flaming Volkswagen tattoo on his arm, and it was like a 8-hour tattoo. It was painfully boring to sit there while he got a tattoo.
This took like an hour and a half.
I think
per
it
arm.
turned me off from tattoos, just because I had to sit in a tattoo parlor for a long time waiting for a friend.
You should have got a tattoo while you were there.
I should have.
Yeah,
Now I presume since you did them so close together, you had decided on the entire design.
I've been on this.
Before.
I had thought about this design for literally 7 months.
Okay, so for the listeners, I can only see his left inner arm, and it says "love" in outlined letters, and then it says "free" in bold, solid letters, and then the other arm says "live" with the ANCAP logo as the
That's
V
a
for
voluntarist.
live. Sorry, voluntarist symbol.
It's a V, so clearly
I-
it stands for ANCAP.
I don't know. Sorry, good point. Good point. And then it says "live free." Okay.
Yes.
And your story, go.
Okay, I moved here to the Shire, to New Hampshire, with the whole live free mentality.
And real quick, let me interject.
Yes.
What Nick probably doesn't understand is that this is a big thing for people to move from one place.
Well, what,
to
are you
another.
free? You're local?
Uh huh.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
he doesn't get like how
Moving.
hyped up and excited you have to be to move somewhere.
For this.
For
Right.
This.
Yeah.
Okay. And you moved when?
I moved here 1 year ago on Sunday.
Wow, that's pretty recent.
Yes.
Are Andrew's levels good? He sounds really muted.
How did you hear about the opportunity to move to New Hampshire for such a great thing?
How did I hear about it?
Yes.
I remember I was watching Adam Kokesh on Russia Today when he had a show on there, and he went to Pork Fest. And I learned about the Free State Project and LRN, Free Talk Live, and Pork Fest and Free State, all that shit, and went down the rabbit hole from there.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so that was like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
got the tattoo after you moved?
Yes,
Okay.
I got this tattoo 1 month ago, and I got the one on my left arm 2 weeks ago.
And the story about it is
Oh, okay. I moved here to the Shire, to your home turf here.
yes.
I moved here with the whole ideology of living free, not just with the government and all that jazz, but actually my own personal life, living as free as I can. And I evolved into a love-free mentality where I thought I'd hit the bottom of the rabbit hole in regards to philosophy, and when I got here, I went through a whole nother philosophical rabbit hole with love. And I've embraced this whole polyamory lifestyle, and I've been living that for like last 10 months. And that's what really love free represents. On top of that, there's a lot of meaning to me in both these tattoos. Like the fonts on both the stencil is the same font that's used in the show. So the font that's for Rebel Love Show is the same font as here. And then on top of that, the Love logo obviously is a Ron Paul Revolution flipped in reverse with ANCAP colors, but that's also the logo of the show too.
What font is it?
Capture It.
Wait, what?
Capture It is
okay.
the stencil font that's used for the show, and it's also used on my arm. So it's like the same font that's used for both.
See, I never put enough thought into any one thing long enough to say, I'm going to get a tattoo of this thing that I've been thinking about.
No car-related tattoos?
I like too many cars. I'd have to get all the cars.
Oh, yeah.
You see, I spent...
You just get a brake caliper and be like,
and
yeah.
what if some car company, I get it, like my buddy who got a Volkswagen tattoo,
Oof.
what if I got a Nissan tattoo or something?
Subaru.
And then Nissan goes and does something that I don't like.
Or you should get a Datsun tattoo. They don't exist
That's
anymore.
true. That's okay. You get a defunct car company.
Mm.
See, I spent over 6 months looking at my arm. Like, will this look good on me?
What are
like
these mean?
Like every day,
arms?
like spent looking down and seeing if it looks good. I remember one day actually like stenciled it out like on my arm, just like with a pen.
That's the way to go. You get a temporary one first, and then go, okay, I can live with this.
Without arms, you wouldn't have fingers either.
You could still have fingers.
But yeah, I spent years thinking about my tattoo as well. So
What do you have a tattoo of?
A watch.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this.
Yeah. So and then it has some like other meaning inside of it.
Are you gonna get more tattoos? Are you
Nope.
gonna get like an anklet?
An ankle watch.
No, it would be an ankle bracelet, like when you get drug rehab or whatever.
Oh yeah, this is my tattoo. It's just my
probation bracelet.
tracking device.
Yeah. The only other tattoo I've thought about getting would be a chaos symbol, which none of you know what that is, do you?
No.
Okay. Well, mission accomplished.
I don't know. I think everyone should just get barcodes, but that's
like-
too
Oh, that's
generic.
only. It is 2015 though, but you would be the only one that know because this is the future, Nick. You're giving me a look, but you would be the only one that would know what that tattoo read. The being a barcode.
Yeah, that would be a vintage barcode. It would be like a vintage thing.
Well, I guess a lot of people might get their like Bitcoin QR code address, but then that's dangerous because it changes all the time.
Yeah, well, if you lost your QR code or whatnot, or you lost your wallet and
Like
you changed it, yeah.
Send me my coins to this address.
Yeah.
I have
QR
to say, listening to last week's show, I like your Chicago accent.
Do I have?
get to hear
Wait. Do I really have a Chicago accent?
Oh shit, yeah.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've noticed.
But it's a good one.
I've only met like one other person here from Chicago.
Mhm.
Though I've just met someone that was from Northwest Indiana at a meetup yesterday. But I normally don't meet much people from the Chicagoland area. So I know I have like a unique accent. I don't know. I really didn't consider it much.
It's not full on like the
Hey, I
super-
got a
super
fucking
Chicago.
Polish sausage stuck in my throat.
No, but he
It's not
says
full on
you
that,
say
right?
things like,
Like
so I went to the market, like
John
da,
Candy.
like duh instead of the. That stands out a lot,
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
cool. Like I wish I had some kind of.
You do.
Accent.
You have a Pittsburgh
I
accent.
don't. I
yes,
don't
you
have
do.
a-
You
I
say
don't.
yins.
I never
on
said yins in
occasion.
my fucking life.
Sometimes it comes out.
I've only
Once you
said,
pointed out what it sounded like, then I've heard it at occasion.
I've only said yins when I'm describing the accent.
Yeah.
My entire
But
life, I never
it.
said the
You
word
said,
yins.
yeah, you just did.
Except ironically
Oh.
or descriptively.
Got me with the legal.
Well, the reason Andrew wanted to have us all gathered here
Yeah.
today
What the fuck's going on here?
is talking about driving, maybe, and interacting with
Are you smelling your hand? What
those
are you doing?
polices. Sorry, is that bad for the audio?
No, it just looks like you're.
just makes
it,
no
it,
sense.
It looks like you're groping. My
I felt like I
microphone.
needed to brace
You're,
my
like,
hand on
sexually
something,
harassing
and I
me.
was just bracing it on the back end of the mic. Which
See, you're gonna have to learn to tune all these things out. Otherwise, you're gonna be continuously pointing things out that seem odd to you.
Wait, who are you talking to?
Both of you.
Everybody? Oh, yeah.
What's odd about this studio?
No,
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 it's
things
Nick.
that Nick
there's
does.
nothing odd about me and what I do.
Wrong.
Okay.
So-
How did you get involved with these two?
He started it.
Huh? With these two?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, it's
You're-
Nick's fault.
I just followed Nick around for a few years, like living with him.
Okay.
I was an activist before they were here. Well, actually, but the day Puke moved to Keene was like the same day I met all the other activists.
Yeah, it was in 2007, and I sat down and ordered a pizza across from this weird kid,
And I sat down across from this guy who said his name was Puke, and I was like, that's disgusting.
and I was bald and had a goatee at the time.
And I met Nick, and I'm like, okay, Nick, here's why I should move in. Yes, I have a dog, but look, meet her. She's not that bad.
Worst decision Nick's
So
ever
Andrew moved
made.
in.
I got a job lined up. It's good paying. I'll pay rent, and I'll just smoke pot with your roommate.
So that's how this triad of a bromance started.
Kinda.
Yeah, I
I
guess
mean,
so.
nothing happens in one step, right? Or 3.
True.
It happens in about 80.
Well, actually, before I moved, I went to Liberty Forum for my first visit
Mm-hmm.
in 2009, and I ended up somehow just hanging out with the two of them pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck we got together, but
And I remember
probably
thinking,
somewhere around a joint or something.
Yeah, like I
happened
watched
and-
all the things Nick did and found him to be uncomfortably hilarious.
Because I
Like-
posted videos on that tube of you.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
I went to not even that. Like I hadn't even seen your videos at that
Oh,
point.
never mind.
Like I showed up at your house to hang out with Dale, who was super friendly, and your old roommate Tim. And I'm at your house, and you come downstairs and you start caressing the wall, wearing a robe, and you're just like, "Hi, I'm Nick. Who are you? Why are you in my house?"
I make weird appearances sometimes.
Yes, you do. And so that
Yes,
was
he
interesting.
does.
And then Nick was the first person I ever met who was meeting people on Craigslist and going on dates with them. And he had invited this dude to Liberty Forum to come on a date.
By the
with
way,
him.
I'm so glad that online dating's not a taboo thing anymore.
It was just
Go ahead,
strange
continue.
for me. Like I was
back in the day, it was taboo. Now
I was
it's
barely
not.
aware of the internet at this point.
He still is barely
Seriously,
aware
for
of the
2
internet.
years, I drove a tractor trailer, being cooped up driving a tractor trailer, or
Yeah.
you know,
They
doing
only
whatever
know
the fuck.
they only know what a CB radio is.
Yeah, that was my
Breaker 19.
media.
And to be fair, that was
That's-
6 years ago.
That's their internet.
No, that was
Shit's
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus.
Well, anything.
Oh
more
yeah,
than
in
6.
February it was 7.
So I'm going on 6 years.
Yeah, and so when you think about that, like what 7 years ago there was like no Netflix really.
No,
Was there?
there
like,
was.
They didn't have
but it was
online
disc
streaming.
only,
Yeah, nobody
Streaming
really knew
just
what it
started
was.
About 7 years ago.
Hardly had
6
YouTube.
years ago.
I don't think Bill Gates had even been born.
But anyway,
Nobody
yeah.
knew who Steve Jobs was.
So anyway, we're all here
Apple still referred to fruit.
because Andrew wants to talk about getting pulled over, which
Well,
he does all the time.
I get pulled over a lot.
How often do you get pulled over?
How often?
Yeah.
Well, we're doing this podcast right now while he's pulled over in a car.
Well, let's start. Let's officially start, and we'll talk about it.
Oh Jesus
We've-
Christ, we haven't started
that
yet.
was the start.
It
The
hasn't
start was
started?
talking about the tattoo.
Oh, okay.
No,
it's
or
fine.
that'll go at the end.
Right, whatever.
I'll make that.
So
like a
anyway.
fucking blue.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So my history is, I started driving about 12 years old.
Okay.
My dad had a pretty fast car. It was a manual V8 BMW, and I would take it out late at night out of the garage. I'd push it out and then start it up when it was outside, and I would go drive it through the neighborhood and up and down the road, and the more I drove it, the more adventurous I got, and I would go further and further from home and faster and faster. And
Why would you push it out of the garage
so it didn't start up in the garage and resonate through the house.
and wake your
And wake my
parents?
dad up.
I see.
Yes.
You were stealing it.
Yes, exactly.
Aha.
And yeah, so I started familiarizing myself with the car at that point, and I would also take his Jeep Grand Cherokee out and go field stomping with it.
Fuck
And,
does
uh,
that
Wait,
mean?
yeah, what is field stomping?
Mudding. Like
Oh.
is
driving it
that
off
like the New Hampshire equivalent to mudding?
No, I think that must be a Pennsylvania thing. I've
field
never heard
stomping?
field
I
stomping.
guess, maybe. I don't know. I would go off-roading. I would
Yeah.
go four-wheeling in it. I would jump it and take turns really fast and slide it through the
Okay.
mud and the grass and
Yeah.
just beat the shit out of it. Like
Okay.
things that no one should ever do to a vehicle. I would do that. And then I started getting into cars and liking cars, and I got my license, and within 2 months I lost my license.
In the
And-
washer or what?
No, I got pulled over.
Oh.
I was driving a Mercedes convertible that was unregistered, uninspected, uninsured, and so I was driving that, and I got pulled over for doing 70 and a 50, which I actually was not speeding. I swear to you, I was not fucking speeding because I knew cops sat on this road.
Find this hard to believe.
But the cop got me for doing 20 and a 50, and
20 over.
20 over. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to court, and I got the fine reduced and the points taken off and all that. And my first experience in court. So now I have points on my license. Any more ticket I get is gonna lose my license. Or as a minor, if you get a ticket of doing 25 or more over, you lose your license automatically in Pennsylvania. I was 16. Then in that same Mercedes, I got pulled over doing 77 and a 45 with 3 people in the 2-seater car. Once again, my dad did not have the thing inspected or registered or insured. So this time the
So you're-
cops stuck it to me.
So
I got a ticket for no inspection,
Uh-huh.
$175. A ticket for no registration, like $100. A ticket for no insurance, $400 and automatic loss of license. And a $377 ticket for doing 37 over or whatever the fuck it was.
Why did your father not have any of this shit done?
In part because he had 4 vehicles.
Okay.
And so that was one thing. It's a lot of paperwork for 4 vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Another part is laziness, and another part is his unwillingness to bow to the state and just fork over money for nothing.
So you got some of your rebellious attitude from your father?
Yes, to a degree, but more super right-wing rebellious attitude.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
I get it.
Contradictory.
No, I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, lost my license.
You're
went
Jewy
home,
and love money. That's the part that you like.
Had to have the car towed home.
Yeah.
And I walked into my dad's office and told him, "Here's a bunch of tickets. They total $1,300. Aren't you delighted that this happened?"
And he said, yeah, no.
So
I was saving all that money by not registering it.
I lost my license, and I had a pretty badass car. I had a 2001 Honda Prelude, and this is in 2002, so this thing's like a year old.
Yeah.
Had 20,000 miles on it. It's a pretty fast car, and it was nice and fun and flashy and everything, and I had this car to drive, but I have no license. So
you drive it regardless?
about 7 days after I lost my license, I got pulled over again. And once again, no paperwork, keeping in the family tradition.
Yeah.
Towed home, and another $1,200 or so in fines and shit. So this is not going well.
No, not at all.
And now my suspension has gone from 90 days to 15 months.
Now, why did you get pulled over in the Prelude? How did they... Did they just see you didn't have tags or whatever?
No.
Or were you doing something stupid like...
I was going to pick up a girl from a different school district to go to some dance or something. And before I picked her up, I wanted to go driving on these back roads. And when I used to go up there was this kid in a Camaro I'd always run into. And he always wanted to race. And I was always down for a race.
He's like a goal in like Grand Theft Auto. He's always sitting in the exact same
Pretty
spot,
much, like,
always waiting to race.
If I went to this little 4 corners of a intersection of a town, he was around. Like, I would just run into him at the gas station or whatever.
Okay.
So I go into this town.
It's your nemesis.
I just start heading back to her house, and I'm going up the hill. The next thing I know, there's this car right on my ass. And I'm thinking, oh, it must be that Camaro dude with his 80s IROC Camaro. So I take off, flying up this, like, 2-lane state highway. I hit, like, 125 on this one straightaway, and I'm just booking. The headlights, I can't see them anymore. They're gone. I thought, haha, sucker. Then I get stuck behind some cars, and the headlights slowly approach from behind again. And the next thing I know, there was a blue light on top of the car that was right on my ass. So I just tried to race a cop. And he pulled me over and screamed at me and flipped the fuck out. And, got towed home again. And that whole thing happened. So 15 months of no license.
Now, what do you do in a situation like that where you're doing 120 miles an hour and the cop catches back up to you and you're just like, oh, my bad?
Well, if I would have known it was a cop, I would have just passed the cars in front of me and kept going. I didn't know it was a cop. I thought it was
I know
redneck in a Camaro.
I understand that part, but how do you react? You're just like, whoop, got towed again. Brr.
Well,
like no, like what the? How do you when you're like,
I'm
oh
just totally
fuck, I got
right, and I'm angry. I'm a teenager, and I got nothing to lose. I really don't. Like I don't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
So he pulls me over. I open the window. He walks up, and the first thing he says is, "Holy fucking shit! How fucking fast were you going? What is this fucking thing? A Ferrari?" And he's swearing and flipping out and screaming like he is losing his shit. And
you tell him it's a Honda?
Yeah, I'm just like, that's what I said. I'm like, nope, it's a Honda.
It has a VTEC engine.
Yeah, it's a little 4-cylinder. And he's like, I was doing 98 miles an hour back there. How fast were you going? And I just thought, that's really funny because I was doing like way more than that.
150? Oh, shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, but no, I just didn't say much. I was just angry, and the angrier I got, the more tickets he started writing, and the more tickets he was writing, the angrier I got. And I was just kind of dreading going home with a bunch of tickets.
And you're still there to that day.
I can't believe you didn't get arrested.
Under 18. If I was over 18, I would have been arrested.
They can't arrest you for being under 18?
Driving under suspension?
Wow.
No,
cool.
I don't think so.
All right.
Because like up here, you go to jail immediately.
Yeah, it obviously depends on the state you live in.
Yeah, so
that's for sure.
That happened, and my parents could not control me very well, obviously. So
everyone does that I've met here seems to be have family issues at some point or another.
Nick has the happiest family ever.
Yep.
Well, Nick doesn't drive either, so
he was well behaved and loves his parents. They love him.
Well, like I was never somebody who misbehaved.
You
But I
set
don't,
your fucking
I
mattress
don't
on
care
fire,
for-
man.
That was an accident.
Wait.
That was.
We heard about this on the show today.
Yeah, we talked about it today on the show.
Puke set fire to his mattress
I was
as a
playing with
preteen.
candles when I was a teenager, and like just stupid shit. But I wasn't.
Dripping hot wax on his balls and had an accident.
I kept most of my arson for the old folks' homes, though. They never caught me about that. So, no, like my family, I mean, we all pretty normal, get along for the most part. We're just emotionally vacant, soulless, lack of, that's all. But anyway, I was never the kid that did anything that crazy, I don't think. I was just shitty at school.
Well, Rob, how many times have you lost your license?
Never.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've never lost
Well,
my license.
let me sum this up
Yet.
really quick, and then
Please.
then we can fuck you. So after that, I did not want to lose my license for any longer period, but I also couldn't stop driving. My entire life revolved around cars and driving, and it was freedom to me. It was getting out of the house, getting out of the neighborhood. I have wanderlust. I have to go places. I have to just go places, wherever it might be.
Yeah.
So I had to keep driving. But at this rate, I'm going to be pulled over every 2 weeks. So what did I do? Did I stop driving? No. Did I slow down? Fuck no. I just stopped pulling over. I would just stick to I would stick to the back roads. I would never go on like a busy main street.
That's some good
I
advice
would never
for
go
you
on
kids.
the highway. I would just stick to back roads, and whenever there was a cop, I would just see it as an opportunity for me to go really fucking fast this time.
And
just
try to
get
escape.
away. And I was always successful. Is it a good idea? Fuck no. It's a horrible
obviously
idea.
not, because I think most people would have at some point probably rolled the car and
Well,
killed
or
themselves.
gotten caught.
Yeah.
But you're in rural Pennsylvania. It's not like the cop expects you to run. And you say, well, they have radios. They radio ahead. Well, they also have an ego. So even if they radio ahead, there's a million road choices to take. Where are they going to stop you? I'm not on like a major artery. I'm on back roads.
Yeah.
And they're going to try and catch me. So they're either going to crash and die or they're going to give up.
Oh, did that ever happen? Do you know?
Fuck if I know.
Oh, wow. That'd be interesting. Did you ever look at the newspapers after you ran from a cop to see if there was ever, like,
No, I was too busy doing shit.
chases
Didn't
suspect?
have time to read.
Oh, yeah.
But
I don't have time for read words.
yeah, so that set the tone for me for a few years. How did your early driving history go? Any pullovers off the bat?
I never drove the way you did. I was actually kind of a safe driver. I got pulled over a couple times, but nothing major.
I'm not unsafe. I never had an accident.
He's
There you
only
go.
killed 30 other people.
But no, I never had much issue driving until I got here.
Really?
Yeah. I've
So-
been pulled over before I moved here. I think I was pulled over maybe 5 times in a decade.
Really?
Yeah. And then I got here, it's like every month.
See, I found
More
the
than
same
every
thing.
month,
I
yeah.
get pulled over way more frequently here, and I think the thing is, the cops have nothing better to do here.
Yeah, they're bored for the
And
most part. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're hyper vigilant, looking for those inspection stickers and shit.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm
So-
well aware. I'm gonna I actually just for my inspection sticker, I actually just sent my form in to fight it in court. I know I'm gonna lose, but at least I'll get a video out of it.
Well, so what's your driving situation now? You have a New Hampshire license, or
I have, yeah. Unfortunately, I had not planned on getting a New Hampshire ID for a couple years, but I was kind of forced to.
Me too.
Within literally the first 3 days I was here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my whole backstory when I moved here, I sold everything I had, and I pretty much had nothing but one bag of clothes and Ash, and that was it.
That's
my
a cat.
cat. My
Is it
cat.
your dead grandfather?
My
Oh.
cat. My cat Ash. A bag of clothes and my cat. And anyways, moved here. I had I only had like $3K to my name. I ended up going to the day 2. That morning I took an Agorist taxi to the CAC to buy Daryl's car with Bitcoin.
I thought that car looked familiar. So
Yeah.
what we're talking about is a bumper stickered up
Yes.
Nissan Sentra.
Yes, I have slowly began to remove most of those bumper stickers because they're not mine. Not that I disagree with any of them on there. It's just it's a cop magnet, and
Yeah. Nothing like advertising your anti-establishment ideas to the world like a bumper sticker.
well, 1 or 2 is fine, but it's like the whole bumper, and I've removed about over half of them, and that is probably 10 hours of work just
Jesus.
removing those.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
'cause-
like a half an hour per bumper sticker. They've been on there for years.
You should just
Yeah,
go to a
they're terrible.
junkyard and buy a new bumper.
Yeah,
Or
I
just
thought-
spray paint the back end
Yes.
of it, maybe.
maybe. But anyways, when I buy the car with Bitcoin, in Keene. I drive it back to Manch, and then the next day, so this is day 3. I'm driving over to the Quill to meet a couple people, and I get pulled over by the cops. Now, mind you, I'm driving with no. Here's the thing. It doesn't have plates at all. I actually had I took it off, but it had a free Keene plates.
Oh yeah, you got to get rid of that.
I took that off, but it had no plates, so I get pulled over.
So what's your mentality when you get pulled over now? You know that you're gonna get fucked here. You're breaking all these rules.
Yes, I didn't go full anarchist on the cop or whatnot. I didn't go full bully rock on the cop here. I knew that I was breaking the law multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of tried to sweet talk the cop a little bit at first, but anyways, so here I am driving this car that has a shit ton of Liberty stickers, no plates. I have a Illinois license. The title of the car is from South Carolina, and I give them a bill of sale in Bitcoin. And I hand this to the police officer, the Manch PD, this woman, I forget her name, which was just a weird, they're like, what the fuck were you supposed to do with this? It's all over the place, the information I'm giving them. And anyways, of course, I'm filming this. I took my phone. Whenever I get pulled over now, especially that first time, I always film.
Did you tell them you were filming?
No.
No.
I've done that in other times, but this time I did not.
Were they aware?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea if they're actually aware of that or not. But I thought it was pretty evident that I was recording, but I had the phone there, aiming up. And I had it from a selfie one, so it was on the
okay, so
on
you
the
could
screen, so
see
she could see it. Yeah, that she was on camera.
Mm-hmm.
But she let me. Now, here's one thing I actually thought Manch PD did. I won't say great, but I was afraid I was going to get not only would my car be stolen, but I'd be kidnapped. I thought I was going to be arrested.
Not only would your car be towed, but you'd be arrested, right? Is what you meant?
I thought they would steal my car.
Okay.
And then I would also be kidnapped.
Well,
a black is going to jump in and drive off with it.
Oh.
So, no, here's the thing. Would they tow you, if you can pay for the tow right there, they'll tow you home or where you're going sometimes.
Well, here's the thing. They she wrote me a summons, but she told me, because I told her my whole story. I just moved. I shipped one small box to my address in Manchester, and I could use that mailing address as proof of residency or proof that I lived here, so I can register the car, which I did the next day, which I was forced to because otherwise, and
they don't make it easy to prove residency either.
No, actually, it is. All you gotta have is all you gotta do is have. Well, I don't know if I prove residency. I don't know what the exact legalese of it, but I registered my car using a taped up box that I just threw some stuff in from Chicago that I didn't really want to get rid of.
It definitely depends on the clerk you get.
Yeah, I think so.
Some of them are going to be like, this isn't good enough, and others are like, I don't care.
There's
I'm just going to type it in.
There's actually a picture on my Instagram feed of me buying registering the car with the Bitcoin license with this huge box of just my address on it, which is kind of weird. That's how I got around it. But anyways, the cop told me that she would throw out the summons if I got registered the next day, which I did, and she did throw it out.
Now, when you say summons, do you mean you were summoned for a court date?
Yeah,
or
so
you
a
got
ticket. It's I guess is that the same thing in New Hampshire? I don't even know.
No, because a summons is you must appear in court. A ticket is
I had to appear in court.
Okay, so
it
was
a
summons.
summons. Yeah,
okay.
It was a summons. Now, mind you, what was really interesting in that pullover, which was a video of it. I recorded it. She started questioning me about Keene and who I bought it from and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm being questioned about being a free stater and whatnot in the video. It was fascinating.
See, I never really got that before. But then I'd say more than half my pullovers, there was no way to know I was a free stater necessarily.
Yeah, you didn't have bumper stickers all over your car.
Yeah.
It said Free Keene and Free State Project and Arrest Me Now.
So that was 3 days in.
3 days in. Yeah.
And
now, mind you, they also let me drive the car to the Quill. I was able to drive it to the Quill with no problem.
See, why don't I get this kind of courtesy?
I don't know.
Get towed immediately?
Yeah, well, that's I've heard other people in the city being towed by the police because of it, but they're letting me off. It was weird. I was fully expecting for them to take the car, but they didn't.
So what happened with the court summons?
They threw it out. I registered a car. I went up to the Valley Street Police Department, showed them that I had registered a car, and they got that police officer on the phone, and they threw it out, and I've been driving around ever since with not going to that court date.
So your car's registered in New Hampshire.
Yes.
You're licensed in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I had to get a license in New Hampshire.
Is your car inspected?
Yes, it is inspected. Now, mind you, it's been inspected twice now. The second, because the way the inspections work, it's based off of your date of birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you inspect it a month before your birth, or 2 months before your
birthday, you gotta get it done again.
You gotta redo it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had to get it done again in November, but I didn't do it.
But isn't the registration the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The registration's the same way.
You got to register it, and then 2 months later, you got to re-register it.
Yeah.
So you're not inspected currently?
No, I'm currently inspected.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I was literally getting, I literally had a appointment to get my car inspected the next day. It was my day off.
Yep.
And I had that already, because I'd literally been pulled over 3 times by Manch PD before they gave me this last ticket for the inspection sticker, because they literally are scouring, cars with a different.
And that's all they do. It's unfucking real.
Yeah. Every day I was going to work, I got pulled over twice in 1 week, like just driving to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the point where it got absolutely
at night,
crazy.
You feel so much fucking safer.
Oh yeah, because they can't see the sticker.
But in the daytime, like my blue car, my sports car, I drive that thing around without an inspection or registration sticker, and I feel completely normal and comfortable at night or out of state.
Mm-hmm.
But in the daytime, I am fucking paranoid, and I'm the biggest pussy too. I go so slow, it's unreal.
Well, I would see cop cars pull out of an intersection and whatnot, and I knew they made eye contact with my car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I already assumed I was going to get pulled. I would try to pull off somewhere else, and I knew they'd follow me.
They're way too good at that.
Yeah.
Like, you're at a busy intersection, like hundreds of feet away, and there's like 60 cars around, and they see that one car without a fucking inspection sticker.
Yeah.
Because they know it's a guaranteed ticket, and 99.9% of people are not going to fight that because they're not inspected. What's their argument? Yeah. And if they do fight it, it's not like you're going to win an inspection fight.
No.
Were you inspected? No. Okay, you're guilty.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to lose. I mean, I'm going to fight this. I know I'm going to lose, but at least I'm going to, I don't know.
No, I fought every single one.
The way I see it is I'm going to take this cop off the streets for a couple hours where he can't steal from other people.
Yeah, or he's just getting overtime to be there.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
well, at any rate, I get
I mean, there is always the chance that he might not show up. Or
that's completely
something
true.
else happens in court that day that makes every small thing like that irrelevant.
Yeah.
Who knows? So that was your first time getting pulled over. What happened next? How long did you make it till you got pulled over again?
I got pulled over again 2 months later. It was up in Guilford. I got pulled over.
State or local?
No, local. I was going up like a huge hill, I guess doing 80 or something like that. I'm like, I don't know, I'm in the middle of nowhere with no traffic.
Yep.
Who cares?
Law cares.
And what was really interesting...
Well, I've been pulled over by these same cops. Manchester and Guilford both.
Yeah.
What was interesting with the Guilford one, it was quick. It was like 30 seconds.
Yep.
He grabbed my license and registration, came back within 30 seconds. He literally went to his car for 5 seconds and came back, said, have a nice day, and left.
Yeah.
No conversation, nothing. It was interesting. He didn't question me about anything, didn't ask anything.
Came back with a ticket?
No.
Oh, okay.
No ticket. Just he said, I'm going to give you a warning, but have a nice day, and walked away. It was very fascinating to it's like he didn't want to deal with me.
Younger guy?
He was in his 20s. I'm pretty sure he was in his 20s,
okay.
yeah.
I think, because I got pulled over by Guilford police, too, one time, in an unregistered, unfront-plated car. No front license plate. Jesus Christ. That is a guarantee.
I have another story for that, too.
Yeah, that's obviously going to be easy to spot.
Well, Guilford pulled me over. It was on race day after the races in Loudon. And I had my helmets in the back of the car and everything, and got pulled over by this guy, not for speeding or anything, I don't think, just for no front plate. And he walked up, saw the helmets, and he's like, oh, you raced this thing? I said, yeah, just did today. And he's like, oh, well, you got no front plate, and just want to let you know that some cops might have a problem with that. I really don't care about it, but then he asked me about the car a little bit and told me to do a burnout, and I left.
He told you to do a
He told me to do a
burnout?
burnout. Yep.
You said it only has 190 horsepower.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. It can do it.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, I got, besides that one, I've been pulled over multiple times in Manch. The next time I got my interaction with Manch PD, which has been a lot, I was pulled over leaving this show.
Well, during these first two pullovers,
yes.
How cooperative were you? Like you said that you didn't go full anarchist, but you recorded the one.
I recorded it.
Did you answer questions? Did you?
Well,
what was your demeanor?
The first time, I didn't go like full anarchist because I knew I was breaking multiple laws and whatnot, driving without a light, driving with, without any plates or registration or anything like that or inspection. There's multiple things against me. I mean, I knew I was going to get at least a ticket, but at least she, threw it out and whatnot. The one with Guilford, the Guilford one, I didn't do much of talking at all.
There wasn't much time.
I did ask them, how did you know I was speeding? And he's like, oh, we have radar guns on the car. But they're going. He was going the opposite direction.
That's the thing too.
So it's like, how do you know how fast I'm going? Because you're moving as well. You're not stationary.
Up here in New Hampshire, they don't sit on the side of the road that often and pick off speeders. They just drive around and point the gun as they're driving.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
You don't get any like. If there's a cop stationed somewhere, you can get a warning or you can see them from far away. If they're driving the other way, you can't see them, or if it's nighttime or something.
Well, that's how I got pulled over that one time.
Fucked up.
I thought that was standard.
No, that's a New Hampshire thing.
No, that's not a normal thing. It's weird that cops can pull you over with a radar gun while they're driving. I didn't know that was a thing until I got here.
Until I moved here.
Yeah. So I was shocked. Like, how did you know I was speeding? You were driving. Like, how did you know that?
Yep.
Yeah, I was shocked that he was able to pull me over like that. Though I knew he was going to pull me over because I saw him slam on his brakes after, like, in my rear view mirror.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that so many times. They slam on the brakes, they hit the gumballs, and they pull a U-turn.
Yeah, yeah. But with him, I guess I kind of went full anarchist. I didn't say, after that, I didn't say anything. Which is also another weird thing. When I got my license, I got on my original address, but I moved. But I had to re-register my car and get like stuff moved to this address. So every time I get pulled over, they ask me, "Is this your address?"
Yep.
Like every time, like, "Is this your address?" And there's there's one time I got pulled over by a statey where like he's like screaming at me about it.
Because that's an easy add-on ticket.
Yeah.
That they can give you.
And
for not updating your address.
And I tell him that is the address that the state issued. That's the address I gave the state when I registered this license.
And what does he say then?
He's like, "Well, is this where you're living now?" That's what I gave.
And then you just go round and round.
Just around and around. Like, that's what they took.
And they really
you don't like
that.
Yeah, they hate that. Like, that's what the state, like, this is approved by your bosses. Like, by the same force that you work for, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, the rewind, the next time I got pulled over was, again, by Manch PD. We were only in, like, I think 6 episodes into this show back in May. My girlfriend at the time, I was driving her home. We were going after we recorded here. When I was spending the night over there, we got pulled over right over here. I think on Hanover and Union. I got pulled over.
So city streets in Manchester.
Yeah, city streets in Manchester, and I didn't.
What'd you get pulled over for?
He pulled me over because my plate wasn't on the front bumper. I had it in the window, but I didn't have it on the front. So he pulled me over because I didn't have a front plate. He's like, well, I thought it fell off. Now, what was really crazy, now I'm an older guy. I look like, well, I may look like I'm in my 20s, but I'm 31. And my girlfriend at the time, she's half black, half Asian, and 21. And immediately, like, he starts asking for her ID. Like, immediately. And I'm like, no, you are not.
I've never had that where they've asked the passenger for ID.
Yeah, I thought it was, I stood my ground. Like, you are not going to see her ID. You don't need her ID. I am the driver of this vehicle. You're not getting her ID. That's on video too on my YouTube channel. But I thought that was really fascinating that, like, he really wanted her ID. I'm like, no, you're not getting her ID. Here's mine. He still gave me off with the warnings, like, you need to get that mounted. And have a nice day.
Because legally, that's what you're supposed to do. If your front plate falls off or something, it's supposed to be visible in your windshield.
Yeah, I don't. The car didn't have a mount on the front bumper. I had to go buy a mount and have it mounted.
Yeah, that's my thing with my blue car.
Yeah,
it comes with a mount. I threw it away, and I don't have a mount.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the car without one. I didn't really think it was a big deal if it was just in front of the, on the windshield. But Yeah, I always thought it was really weird that he like almost demanded that she hand over her ID.
You know,
I told him no.
Forgot about the whole front plate thing until just now. Like I forgot that my blue car has no front plate, and I drive around in it occasionally.
Yeah. So that happened, and then there's multiple different cop block stuff that happened. But I've been pulled over by a statey who did give me a ticket for. I was going with the flow of traffic.
The state cops always give tickets. I've never been let off by a state cop.
Yeah, and he was.
I have.
And what was really weird?
Well, fuck you,
Veterans discount.
veteran.
Literally, that's what he said.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I absolutely
So-
believe that.
That happened once.
The statey, I got pulled over. I was actually going to the pub crawl for the Free Coast Festival, and I picked up Ann from Boston driving up. The statey, when he pulled me over, he came to my passenger side window, which I thought was really bizarre. Like, why would they be coming to that side of the window?
If you're on a busy street, sometimes they'll do that.
But I was way pulled over. Like, I was like way off the shoulder. Like, I was very, very far off.
Also, it gives them a better look inside your car.
Yeah, I get that.
So
Yeah. He was so pissed at me.
Yeah, because they can walk up and see kind of like in your lap from behind, I guess.
It's the best when they have two guys in the same car and they both just come up on either side.
yeah,
Yeah, I've had
gotten
that.
That's the
before
best.
too. And of course we're recording, and he's like, are you recording? I'm like, yeah, she is. You are being recorded. And that was when he was like screaming at me about my ID and whatnot. He ended up like throwing the ticket into the car at one point.
So, were you combative? Were you?
I was very
silent?
combative because I was getting a ticket. So I went full anarchist on him. Like, do you feel comfortable, stealing from me and blah blah blah, and yeah.
Yeah, I did that once.
Well, if I'm gonna get a ticket, I might as well make him feel bad, or
Right.
at least like show that I'm angry at their customer service.
Yeah.
I've also been pulled over twice. I was twice in other cars. I was driving Lauren's car to Keene. We got pulled over in I forget one of the little tiny towns in between Keene and Manch.
Okay.
Peterborough. Yeah. Peterborough. Yeah.
Yeah, they got me before.
Same thing with them.
Went to jail for them.
He was driving, and he got me. And
Yep.
then like I knew I saw him. I've been pulled over so much that I pay attention to like if I'm being followed or if I see a cop car, I keep eye contact the whole time.
It's insane how paranoid I am driving
Yeah.
up here in the state. Like, I leave the state and I feel so much more at ease.
Yeah. So like if I know I'm gonna get pulled over and I see like a parking lot or something, I want to try and get into that parking lot as soon as I can so I can get out. So I'm like you can't pull me over. I'm shopping, or something like that. Like I'm already parked, but he came up so fast. So by the time I like pulled up, he floored it to get into that parking lot. So I think he kind of knew what I was about to do, but he let us off with a warning there. There's another time where Lauren was driving. Now, she's a bad driver, to be perfectly honest. She's a crazy driver. She's horrible.
Well, she's a woman.
She
so.
drives through red lights. It's scary. And she did drive through a red light. And
On purpose or accident?
I just think she didn't know it was a red light, to be perfectly honest. Of course, she does the opposite. She just starts flirting with the cop, and they let her go. It's like, oh, you need to get that done.
Yeah, I've
She's like,
tried that.
Thank
It
you,
did not
officer.
end well.
Yeah, it doesn't work for men. It probably works a lot easier for women.
Yeah.
But it does not work for men very well. And then I've been pulled over multiple times for a sticker. They let me off with a warning, but then I got to the point now where this last one where they gave me a ticket right outside my door here. I was about to get out, and I couldn't get out because I got pulled over by the paddy wagon too. I didn't get pulled over by like a normal cop
Was
car.
it a sheriff or Manch Police have a paddy
Manch
wagon
PD
kind of-
have
okay.
a paddy wagon, yeah. And I got pulled over by that, and I couldn't get out of my car because they're gonna wrestle me to the ground because I'm getting out of my car. Like they hate that if you get pulled over, you can't get out of your car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm stuck in my car even though I'm parked. Like I was parking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one thing I love about that interaction though, like I wouldn't take the ticket.
What were you pulled over for?
The sticker.
Oh, the sticker. Okay.
Yeah, I got pulled over because of the inspection sticker. I hadn't gotten done yet. And I literally it was like a 10 minutes of talking to this cop and not taking his ticket in the freezing cold while there's like a mini blizzard going on. just make him stand out there the whole time. And then at the very end, I'm like, all right, let's get out of the car. Like as soon as he walks away. So like we open the door. Like,
what do you mean you wouldn't take it? You had your windows rolled up and
no, I had the window. Like first off, I always have my windows cracked. I'm sorry, it's cracked. Like I don't open the window all the way. Like it's literally cracked, just enough to put so they can hear me and so I can put my ID through.
And why do you do that?
To piss them off.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like being pulled over.
That's pretty much all it does.
I know. I don't care.
Because I've done it too.
Yeah, it's just
I've done
piss
every
them
which
off.
way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna roll down the window all the way. I'm complying. They don't need the window down, and on top of that, I like showing that I'm disregarding their authority or whatnot. I don't know. And I literally spent like 10 minutes talking to this guy, trying to reach him like morally, trying to reach him as a human being instead of that was like my new tactic was really just try to reach him.
Why
as a
doesn't
human
he
being.
just slide the ticket in and be like, bye?
Yeah, I figured he would have just dropped it, and he wouldn't. He had to have me grab it, and then finally, after like 10 minutes, I figured like my my time, I'm reaching the limit in which like I can't, I need to take it. I'm not gonna like go forward and like,
Does he think it's like when you get served by a lawyer, whatever the fuck that is? Like you have to take it out of the person's hand.
Yeah,
maybe
I don't
that's
know.
why
Maybe
like
that.
But that's not a thing, right? With cops.
But yeah,
I don't know.
And if they want, they're not gonna. That's not gonna stop them from giving you a ticket.
yeah, they don't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't take it,
Yeah.
or you're like, I didn't take it.
Not
and the cop's
touching.
like,
Not touching.
he did take it, and the judge is gonna be like, oh, he took it.
Yeah.
So, okay, hypothetical.
Okay.
You're driving. Your car is not inspected, so your sticker's out, and you get pulled over. You weren't even speeding. You just no sticker. You're being pulled over. You know that you have no sticker or your sticker's expired or whatever. What do you think is the best way to act
In that situation. If you know you're breaking some law, some edict of theirs. I mean, first off, I am not in any way, shape, or form a right to travel activist. I did not choose to be a right to travel activist. It's not something I want to do. There's other stuff that for activism that I'm all for and whatnot. I'm not a right to travel activist. It's just I keep getting thrown into like being pulled over and recording it. But I would, if you know you are, I mean, your odds are you're gonna get a ticket. They're not gonna steal your car for a sticker unless you're like you got a ticket and you didn't go to court or pay it.
Well,
then
to be fair,
that's different.
If your registration's expired,
registration's another thing.
they will tell you.
Yes.
Not always, but
Well, there's a time. I didn't forget. I did get pulled over in early December, and a Manch PD actually again pulled me over for the sticker and the registration. It gave me off for the warning because it was literally like a week later after like I was supposed to register it.
well, you have a 30-day grace period.
Okay, maybe that's why they let me go.
So that's why they let you go.
Yeah, that's
Because
probably
they
why.
can't ticket you.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
Yep.
That's probably why then. Okay, that makes more sense.
So how would you act, though, if you know that you're not up to date on your paperwork?
With registration or just for inspection sticker?
Either one.
If it was more registration, I would play it safe and act as like a normal person.
Okay, so if you know there's something
because they can steal,
risk.
they'd steal your car.
Yeah.
You got like when I got first pulled over, my first couple in my day 3 here, I didn't how I say I didn't go full anarchist. I didn't do that because I knew they can not only steal my car but theoretically kidnap me, arrest me, all that jazz. So played it more cool and calm, but still stood my ground when they started questioning me about stuff. In any situation, if you know that they can take your car, I would kind of play it safe. But if it's just a ticket on like a inspection sticker, no. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be $60-some, but fight it.
Yeah.
And like do whatever you want to do to the cop.
So when you
reason.
say play it safe, be a normal, you mean wind your window down the whole way, just be nice.
Be nice and like comforting, I guess, to the cop or
Yeah.
make him feel good. I don't know, so he doesn't steal. It's someone threatening you with violence.
Just cup his balls a
And
little bit.
but if it's you pick and choose your battles.
Right.
I knew I had my registration good by the time I got the last time I was pulled over, but I knew I didn't have it inspected. I knew I was probably going to get a ticket for the inspection. I'm going to be an asshole to the guy.
Now,
like it was worth it to me for the ticket, because I knew I was going to get a ticket regardless. So I might as well like tell this guy how I feel.
Yeah. So what if you're doing nothing wrong whatsoever? All your paperwork is in order, and you get pulled over for speeding, and you know for sure you weren't speeding. How do you act then?
Oh, I would simply barely crack the window, hand him my ID and my registration, and that's it. Okay. That's all I really would do. If he asks a bunch of questions, I'm like, I don't feel. I wouldn't go again full Billy Rock and not say a word.
Right.
I probably would say like, I don't feel comfortable answering your questions.
What is this hillbilly rocking that you're referring to?
He's referring to Amanda Billy Rock, who was completely silent when getting pulled over, and then she ended up getting arrested.
Yes, in a very dramatic way. It's very Hunger Games-ish in that car. I've seen the video, even though it's no longer online.
Yeah, I saw it too. I just don't remember very much from it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, but I actually had Mathias was one of the cameramen in that car. He tells the story of it.
So
it's kind of interesting.
I've been pulled over so many times. Year one, definitely a dozen times or more, and as time goes on, less and less so. But also, the cars that I drive have changed and have been in various stages of legality. Usually, in some form or another, they're illegal. But year one was definitely the worst. And the first time I got pulled over and ticketed, I had someone else's license plate on the car, and it was a big mess. And I immediately pulled over and tried to get out of the car before he pulled me over.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of the car, closed the door, and then he parks his car and starts screaming at me, like screaming.
Did you just like roll out the passenger driver's side while it was still moving?
Pretty much. Like I tried to get out quick.
Just like point the tires towards the guardrail and roll.
So, yeah. And at that point, I knew that I'm going to get fucked here. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure I'm going to get some kind of ticket. I never used different plates before in my car, so we'll see what happens. And I got a ticket for misuse of plates, and he towed me. And I screamed and yelled and told him what a horrible human being he was, and, you know, he's a piece of shit and all this. I'm standing on the back of the tow truck, preventing them from towing the car up on there, screaming and yelling. And,
They didn't shoot you in the face, huh?
No, it was Keene PD.
Surprised.
And, yeah, they ended up towing me. And if I didn't have a roommate at home willing to foot the bill, they would have impounded the car. And, yeah, that whole thing sucked. Then I got pulled over for speeding, and I don't know. I called Nick up, and he showed up with a camera while I was pulled over. Remember that?
I think so.
It was off of West Street in Keene.
Yeah, and then we acted like you didn't know me.
Yeah,
and I was just some random guy.
He's like, because like this is when filming the cops started becoming a big thing in Keene.
Yeah,
like it was new, but all the cops knew of it. And they knew a few certain people. So Nick was kind of known for being the guy with the camera. And so Nick shows up. He starts filming. And the cop goes, "Do you know him?" I go, "No." Even though I did. And I called him to come there as I was being pulled over. But I forget what quite happened there. But then shortly after that, I was pulled over and searched in Vermont. And in that process, I tried being polite. And I was also trying to run.
What would happen if you did say, "Yes, I know that guy"? Like, what does that?
It doesn't matter.
We were just
playing with him. It doesn't matter.
Well,
but no. I mean, like,
I just answered because I was nervous, and I just gave that answer.
Yeah, but what if?
There's no reason.
I'm just thinking of like, you know, what is the cop thinking? And like, what if you guys actually didn't know each other, and you're like, yes. What if you lied, Andrew, and you said, "Yes, I know that guy," but in actuality you didn't?
90% of the time I was recording someone and they didn't know me.
Yeah. Is the cop gonna run over there and like start?
Then their lawyers would write to me and ask for the video,
Oh.
and I'm like, what a pain.
Really?
Yeah.
Whose lawyers?
How do they find out who you are?
I filmed a DUI once, and the lawyers wrote to me and asked for the video.
Really? Whatever happened with
said
that?
it's on YouTube.
I sent the video in and charged them $7.
Did he pay it?
Yeah, they paid it.
Why $7?
The cost of a DVD plus the cost of me to mail it.
Oh,
nice.
Well, that was nice of you.
And it probably didn't help her at all because I didn't get very good footage.
But yeah. So in Vermont, I was speeding and saw a cop in the median. He turned his lights on. I tried to get away, failed to get away, but he didn't know. He couldn't prove that I was running.
I gotcha.
And pulled me over and started a line of questioning that was very strange. And I tried being not combative with him. And I don't know if I did the cracked window thing because I'd done that a bunch of times before too. And I'm not sure if I did in this particular scenario because this is like 5.5 years ago. At this
I'm
point.
really curious why he searched you.
Me too.
Like, did he give probable cause of why he was going to search you?
No. So there are videos you can see online, and we had talked about this in a prior episode, so I'll try and get through it quickly here. But I was going up to work in Vermont. I had the dog with me. I was going to stay in a hotel. New job. Wanted to make sure, good impression, all that. So I get pulled over, and I'm thinking I'm getting a speeding ticket here. And no, he didn't get me speeding. I was doing like 80-something in a 65. And he did not say a word about speeding. He was talking about my headlight being out, which I was aware, and I had a new headlight on the floor of the car. I just hadn't installed it yet because it was dark out. And, you know, I basically thought, well, maybe he has the tools. I can install it. And he refused to be helpful at all. And then he asked me,
cops carry tools?
When was the last time you were arrested? And I said, that's a strange question. He said, no, it's a standard question. And I'm thinking, I've been pulled over a million fucking times. It's not a standard question. So I said, I've never been arrested before. And he goes, yeah, right. And I go, oh, I don't know what else to tell you. I've never been arrested before. And he goes, mind if I search your car? And I go, no, I'd rather you don't. And he goes, why not? What are you hiding? And we go round and round and round. And he goes, well, if you don't allow me to search, I'll have to bring out a drug dog. At this point, I called Pork 411, which was some emergency message service. And
Yeah,
said,
I'm a bad
being
anarchist. I
searched.
haven't even signed up with that yet.
It's all right. It's an old thing.
Does it even?
No, I know
does
people
this
still
exist
use
anymore?
it.
Yeah.
No, people still use it. I actually picked up another porcupine from. I bailed him out back in spring.
Oh, yeah? Well,
Via
I feel
Pork
like
411.
Facebook is good enough now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there are Facebook groups. You hit more people that way.
Right.
Whatever. And it's less obnoxious.
Well, at a certain point, it turned into just people saying like they're going to the fucking
Yeah.
get lunch somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Like,
you're
who
like,
wants to get
okay,
lunch?
well,
It's like, all right, that's not
Not
worth
relevant
my
to
time.
me.
I don't know who you are. But anyway, Nick showed up with a camera, and we ended up getting like 2.5 hours of video of me being searched. And
Did he think you were like running drugs in the middle of the night?
maybe.
That's the only thing.
It wasn't the middle of the night. It was like 7 p.m. It wasn't even that late.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to work.
I was going to stay in a hotel
I see.
to get up for work at 2 in the morning. And I was nervous as shit about my new job. Like, I'm not going to go into work and say, yeah, sorry, I couldn't come in today. Some cops were being real dicks.
Yeah.
Like, that excuse doesn't fly. Like, you know, so anyway, long story short, a bunch of hours of my time was wasted, and I thought they were going to plant something, and I ended up walking away with a ticket for a headlight.
Wow.
That was the end of that. But, yeah, I've done the silent treatment before. I did this not too long ago. I got pulled over for no inspection in my blue car just a few months back and got a ticket for it by a state cop on 93 at the toll booth. He just popped out from behind the toll booth, pointed at me, had me pull over.
Ha
Was a total fucking prick. Total prick. And I tried being nice and just talking through it. No go.
93 is like their corridor of like pulling a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of people over, especially with the aerial surveillance that they do on
Yep.
93. I hated that when I was working up in Guilford. Like I'd see that. I'm like, really? You have planes in the sky to catch me speeding?
Yep.
Like, is that really necessary?
And now the speed limit's 70 up there, so that's good.
Yeah.
Just north of Concord. But anyway, 2 days later, after I got this one ticket for no inspection, I get pulled over by a local cop in the next town over from where I live. And he was actually very nice to me right off the bat, but I was so pissed because I just got a ticket 2 days earlier for this shit. I was furious. I cracked the window a half an inch. I didn't say a word. I just glared at him the whole time. And I probably should have been nice, and I could have walked away with no ticket. Because I've been pulled over by these cops like 6 times at this point.
Yeah.
And that's the only ticket I've gotten.
Wow.
And but yeah, I was a total dick. Cracked the window a half inch, slid my license out, ended up leaving with a ticket, and didn't say a word. Both the tickets I fought, and I won because the cop didn't show up at the one. The other one, he decided to let me off. But yeah, I did. At this point, I don't think it's a good tactic to be totally silent, unless you know you're guilty of something bad, like you're smuggling drugs or your car is chock full of ammunition filled with drugs inside, like in the ammo.
Yeah.
Cocaine bullets.
Then maybe be totally silent.
Well, I get the whole idea of being silent. You don't want to talk to the cops and give them any information because you might be incriminating yourself just by talking.
Yes.
So I completely understand that, but at the same time, when you don't talk, you're also making yourself very suspicious looking.
Yes.
Yes. I think there's a happy medium between saying yes, no.
Yeah,
and
acknowledge the fact that
completely
you're being
silent.
spoken to, but that's pretty much it. Like, I'm not going to answer any questions.
Right. So I think that whole don't speak, don't answer questions, don't do anything, don't incriminate yourself, That's if you know you're going to end up in court.
Yeah.
So basically, they can't pull something out that you said in the courtroom. But if it's for a simple traffic violation, inspection, registration, speeding, anything like that, I do not think that is the right tactic whatsoever. That's just going to guarantee you a ticket. Sure, you're not going to say anything, and maybe you have some victory in your head, but so fucking what? You're still walking away with a ticket.
Yeah.
Like, if you talk to them and you're somewhat nice, doesn't mean you have to answer the questions. But, like, whenever I get pulled over now, for the most part, I just say, how you doing today? And then however they treat me, I respond in kind. So if they're a dick, I'll be a dick right back. If they're nice, I'll be nice, and I get out of more tickets that way.
The problem with your advice is that you're giving it from your perspective as someone who's been pulled over 18 times to 28 times.
No, I've been pulled over way more than that.
Okay, right. So I would say to anyone who doesn't have this experience, probably just stick to yes or no. Don't even try to be nice, because the cops will do this thing where they go, oh, you're free to go. Mind if I ask you a few more questions? They run it all together into this one thing.
At that point, I say, no thanks, and I drive away.
Because you're smart. However, people who don't have this experience get very nervous, right? And they want to talk to the cop. Like, oh, no, I was just, I was being tailgated, and I was speeding up and trying to go to my girlfriend's house, but I have to deliver these drugs real quick. Oh, my God.
Did that happen to you, Nick?
No. So anyway, I think an activist many years back had the right idea where he would do this thing where you would actually role play, and it got real dirty at the end. Just kidding. That was when just he and I role played. But anyway, he would do this thing where you role play. You get a guy who's really good at pretending to be a cop, and you fake pull someone over and do all the things a cop would do, and you sort of get practice handling this, because we can give all the advice we want, but
yeah, that used to be a regular thing, and I think that's good.
It is good, but in the situation, a lot of people just get really nervous really quick.
Right, like
say things you don't mean to say.
Here's what I want to do. Whenever I get pulled over, I want to hit record and try and make it funny.
Absolutely.
And I've given funny responses to questions and stuff, and I wish it was recorded. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not.
You need to get a dash cam.
Well, right, that would be helpful, but that's also money I don't want to spend. And effort.
Well, then what the fuck do you want? Do you want to be recorded or not?
But I'm saying if my intention is to be funny, then it happens and that all falls apart, and then it just becomes boring and whatever, ticket or no ticket. But when I visited New Hampshire for Liberty Forum in the winter, I drove up in winter in my boring family sedan. It was a Mazda 626, and I left town to go back to Pittsburgh, 10-hour drive, in the middle of a snowstorm after I'd been up for like 18 hours already. And I made it an hour and a half into Vermont, and I was like too tired and I had to pull over. It was a snowstorm. I couldn't see shit. There was a bunch of trucks pulled over on the side of the road sleeping. I just pulled over next to one of those trucks. The next thing I know, someone's knocking on my window to wake me up. And you ever been woken up in a way that just scares the shit out of you? Like, you're just terrified because you're startled?
Yes.
It was that. And
like
the next
when
thing
the
I look at the
drill
window.
sergeant throws a metal trash can down
Every
the
time
hallway.
I wake up, I go, oh, God, life. Oh, oh.
Yeah, well,
I'm awake.
Like, I'm exhausted. I'm passed out in my car sleeping, and then I wake up, and there's just a gun outside the window.
Excuse me?
It's like the cop's gun belt.
Oh, okay.
Gun
It was
holster.
it was on his belt.
Yeah, I just see a gun, but like,
Was he left?
I screamed, saw the gun, acknowledged it was a cop, and was still like freaked the fuck out. Like, ah! Like I screamed like a child. It was ridiculous. And then he starts poking on this flashlight. And he tells me I can't park there, and he goes, "Where are you coming from?" And I said, I recall because I think I watched a role play thing at Liberty Forum, and I said, "Why? Is there somewhere I'm not allowed to be coming from?" And he goes, "Where are you going? Is there somewhere I'm not allowed to go?" And I just said, none of your business, and all that.
Yeah.
And eventually he just got frustrated and let me go. But to be fair, it was a snowstorm. Maybe if it wasn't, I would have gotten a ticket for something.
Maybe, but in that situation, couldn't you just say, I did the safe thing and pulled over in the middle of a snowstorm?
Yeah, then he said, I can't park here.
You said, okay, now I will drive in an unsafe manner off the cliff in a snowstorm into children?
Yeah, well.
I mean, obviously the cop's just a stupid dick.
Well, that's a good point. Why do they ask where you're coming from and where you're going?
I don't know. I think
Here's my
they just
theory.
wanted to trip you up.
No, yeah, it's to get you started. You don't jump right in and go, carrying any weapons or drugs?
Right.
It's kind of a sales technique, but from a cop perspective.
Definitely.
Like for me, it's a sales. My day job, I'm a salesperson, and I'll ask open-ended questions. And if the customer I'm helping, if they're talking, I don't stop them. I don't interrupt them. I just let them talk, and I let them keep talking because they'll say something that's gonna help me sell something to them. So if they can get you talking, at some point, odds are you're gonna say something that can sell them on writing you a ticket.
Yeah, Columbia, my ass is full of coke.
Right. And that's my point, is when you're giving advice to an inexperienced person as to be nice to the cop, some people would interpret that as, answer their first few questions about where you're coming from and where you're going to, and that's what they want you to do.
But also, you could give the advice, don't tell the cop anything, and then they go and just spill the beans immediately, like Puke. He just hurt himself.
I moved the chair onto my toes. What did I spill, Beans?
Oh, he's probably talking about when you
crashed,
careened.
and I said, do not tell them how fast you were going, and you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the opposite works too there.
No, he said, how fast were you going? I said, I don't know specifically. And he said, were you speeding? I said, possibly. I think that's what I said, but I don't
here's
really
exactly
know.
what happened. I said,
Yeah, let me know.
I overheard the cop saying, oh, he was moving. He was moving. So I walked over to you, and I kind of whispered as we were looking at your car. I said, they're going to try and pin you for speeding. Do not, under any circumstances, tell them how fast you were going. You don't even know, but don't even guess. Just don't tell them. Just say, you don't know. Just say you don't know.
Yeah.
And then the cop walks over, and the first thing he says is, so, you must be going pretty fast. How fast do you think you were going? And Puke right off the bat goes, I don't really know. I wasn't really paying attention to my speedometer. And I'm like, oh, good job, Puke.
Yeah.
And the cop's like, okay. Well, I could probably figure it out based on the skid mark length and the trajectory of the vehicle. And I'm a scientist.
And I've got this. I always bring my protractor with me. I'm going to be holding it up against the sinusoidal curve of this.
And he's like, so you should just tell me because I'll figure it out one way or another. And Puke's like, I was probably going 40 to 50. You said those words.
Yeah.
I was probably doing 40 to 50.
And
so
it was a 35.
So basically,
I think,
you just told the cop I was doing 50.
Yeah.
That's what you admitted. But the cop hears I was doing 65.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was the problem there. So even when you say don't talk to the cops, that can happen easily too.
Oh yeah.
It's hard not to talk to the cops. So
it was hard not to think of anything straight at that moment
exactly.
either. Like, we should have gotten the fucking license plate of the jackass that was crowding the corner. Instead, Andrew said, get out of here, you crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, I had enough sense to hide my gun.
That's good.
So, even though it's legally possessed in the car. But anyway.
Have you ever talked yourself out of a ticket?
Wait, so ever talked myself out?
Yeah.
Almost did.
Almost?
Almost. I
How
still
so?
got it. In this last time I got pulled over, I tried to give him an offer where, like, I pretty much tried to get the cop to give me the same offer that a cop gave me my first 3 days here. Where, like, hey, if I come up to Valley Street showing that I got inspected, will you throw out the summons? Will you throw it out? Because Manch PD's done this for me before. He contemplates it for like 30 seconds to a minute, like pulls the ticket back, looks up, like he's thinking about it, like actually contemplating.
The cat's tail is bonging the microphone.
Because he just jumped from
lap to lap.
Robert's lap to mine because I looked at him.
You can't look, well, she, but yeah, that's Ash, the studio cat and producer. But anywho.
Very friendly cat.
She's super friendly. She loves everybody. But no, he actually stopped and like contemplated doing that for me, and then he like went straight into script mode again.
Yeah.
But he actually paused.
That's good.
Yeah. Now I messed up because I kept talking. I should have I should have stopped, just let the dead air be there, and not like say a word, and just look at him like, all right, your turn.
You broke his programming temporarily.
I did. So it's like, holy shit! I actually got through to him. I never actually thought that would really happen before. But
see, I've lied my way out of tickets before.
How so? I have no problem with lying to police.
Me neither.
Like,
you just
go
have to
ahead.
you have to be careful about it. You can't contradict yourself.
Yeah.
And I think what you do is you lie and give so much detail that you just bore them. You bore them out of the ticket. So I used to get pulled over a lot on a car that I had Pennsylvania tags on, but I had a New Hampshire license. That's illegal. You cannot be licensed in a state when your car is registered to you in another state.
Well, what about the whole like thing where, Porks do the whole Montana or Wisconsin registration under an LLC?
Then the car's not registered to them.
Yeah, it's to a company.
Yes, so it's not to them. But in my case, the car's registered to me in Pennsylvania, but I'm licensed to me in New Hampshire.
I gotcha.
And I'm getting pulled over in Vermont a lot. And in New Hampshire. So I would get pulled over, and they would immediately want to know why the car's registered in Pennsylvania and I'm in New Hampshire. And I would go into this diatribe about how I travel for work nonstop. Every week I live in a hotel. I get mail at this address in New Hampshire. I had to get a New Hampshire license for my work, even though my last residence was in Pennsylvania. And I just provide lots and lots of detail until they just get frustrated with hearing me talk, and then I go.
How
usually
often
yell
has
at
that
me.
worked for you?
I never got a ticket for it. Because
Wow.
either A, it might be such an obscure rule that they don't know it well enough to ticket me for it, or B, I don't know. I've gotten other tickets, but never got that added on.
Maybe just come off as like some poor sap, and they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, like this is very confusing. Like, yeah, basically I'm giving this is very confusing to me. I don't understand. I don't know what to do.
Well, he's white, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll just let him go.
So I think there was one time I got pulled over that I played it perfectly, though. And it was when I was picking a coworker up for work. I know I've told the story before. I was picking a coworker up for work in a small town between Keene and Brattleboro. And I didn't know where his house was. I knew the neighborhood, but I didn't know which house was his. He wasn't answering his phone. It's 3 a.m, so I pulled into the public boat launch area at this lake. And I just parked there where I was going to sit there and call him until he answered. And I'm just sitting there, and earlier on the main road, I passed by a cop. He started following me, but I wasn't speeding or anything. And for once, my car was totally legal. So I pulled over and I parked, and I knew this cop was around, but I wasn't too concerned with him. Like, usually I go to work at this time, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and I see these Chesterfield cops every day. And they usually follow me because I'm the only car, and then they leave.
Yeah, and they got nothing to do.
And I've been pulled over by them a half dozen times, too. So I'm sitting in this parking lot calling my coworker, and this cop pulls up behind me, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll just tell him, I'm waiting on my coworker, the truth. Like, I have nothing to hide for once. I have no paperwork that's not in order and all that. So I just say, oh, I'm picking up a coworker for work, and I just can't get a hold of him. I don't know which house is his. And I figure, end of discussion. And, like, the phone's ringing on the Bluetooth and everything as I'm sitting there. And the cop just starts, like, yelling, and it's this big dude. I never met him before. There's only a few cops in this town. And he just starts yelling, so I just stop answering questions. I said, I gave him the none of your business, none of your business. I rolled the window up to just a slight crack. He got upset. He flung the door open.
Didn't you tell me the first thing he said when he walked up to your car was, "Show me your license, boy"?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you remember this because I forget.
Yeah, I've heard it a lot.
Well, I wrote it down I wrote it down right after everything that happened.
Okay.
And I also hit record on my phone. But show me your license, boy, is what he said. So that probably put me not at ease.
Yeah.
Never heard that before. And I said, like, excuse me? And we just started arguing back and forth. And then eventually he opened my door. I had a Mountain Dew bottle sitting, like, on my door sill that I was drinking out of. I just bought 10 minutes earlier at the gas station. And he just grabs it, opens it, sticks his nose inside thinking it's booze. And then he gets mad because he doesn't smell booze, and he starts trying to shove it back in my car. I got a little 2-seater sports car. He's trying to shove it behind my seat, and he's ramming the bottle into the back of my seat because it won't fit. Like, he's trying to put it into a space that doesn't exist. And he's just ramming it repeatedly over and over and over and over until he finally throws it on my lap. I'm like, wow, this dude is, like, on something or something's up. Like, I'm just trying to call my coworker.
His wife left him that night.
Fuck if I know.
Something.
So eventually he yanks me out of the car, takes my wallet, goes into his car with it. Then he comes back out, throws me against his car, frisks me, just shoves me around, and throws me back in the car and can't do anything. Like, he's got no tickets on me. And he's insisting that I've been arrested before, then I got a rap sheet a mile long, he says, or a laundry list or something like that.
Why do people keep saying this? Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe you do have one. Maybe you've been arrested thousands of times.
Why didn't they arrest you?
Like, I'm wearing a fucking work shirt. Like, I'm wearing, like, there's a logo of the company I'm going to work for. Like, I drive by every day. They see our trucks every day.
Maybe that's the thing.
This guy was a new cop. He came from New Jersey.
Oh, I see. So he's not used to seeing people
and he still
exist and not be criminals.
Like working the fucking boardwalk in Atlantic City and finding dead bodies every 2 feet.
Yeah.
Or some shit. I don't know.
It's like an unassuming white guy in a decent car with a work shirt on. Oh, he must be up to something.
But like I became totally silent. I was getting
Where'd you come from, Columbia?
Thrown around, pushed around, and
yeah,
I don't know.
Just some piece of shit that was probably hoping you'd like swing at him or something, maybe, so he'd have an excuse to shoot you.
And I went to the police station later that day and talked to the chief, who I dealt with the chief before because he towed a truck, trailer, and boat that I was out boating on. But yeah, it was a mess. But I think that's probably the only time I ever acted.
Well, what happened to that?
100% principled. What happened to that?
Yeah, when you went and talked to the police chief or whoever.
I went. They were very nervous about me recording them. And I'd had experience with this department a handful of times. You know, years ago, Luther was pulled over. We showed up filming. He was arrested.
Okay.
We waited around until he got released. Then the whole thing with the boat happened. And I got pulled over a few times going to work repeatedly and let go and all kinds of shit. But I had a coworker with me just there as a witness and talked to these cops, and they said, "Oh, it's completely unacceptable." Da 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 da. And I wrote the whole thing down right after it happened. I wrote every detail down, so I didn't recall anything wrong.
They just say, "We'll investigate it."
Yeah, we'll investigate it. Da 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 da. We'll call you. We'll this, that, and the other. Nothing ever happened.
No.
And they tried to apologize for him. Like, you know, we're a local community here. We don't even give out many tickets. Da 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 da. And this cop, he's a new transfer from New Jersey. Maybe he doesn't quite understand how things work up in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Sorry.
I wonder what part of New Jersey is from.
I don't know. It's been a while since it happened.
There's rural areas of New Jersey, but yeah,
so
like who the fuck transfers from, like, you know, south of New York City or some shit to nowhere, New Hampshire?
I've never really felt like I was being threatened, like my life was being threatened or anything like that.
No?
Not even during that time?
And during that time was probably the closest. Like,
oh, yes.
This dude might actually
That's
try
what I
and
thought you
hurt
meant,
me
like
or
never
toss me in the back of his car, and who knows, you know. I don't fucking know. But for the most part, I never feel like I'm talking to a crazy man with a gun when I get pulled over. Like, usually I'm talking to some guy who's an asshole.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. So that's why I don't think the silent treatment is the way to go necessarily. Like, that situation with any other cop, with this violent cop guy, with any other cop, as soon as I said I'm waiting for a coworker, like, and they saw the shirt or whatever, it would have been over, right?
Yeah.
One would think.
Like, maybe they'd ask for your license, but other than that, it would be fucking over. Like, I was parked.
Yeah.
And he tried accusing me of speeding and stuff, but I saw him a mile away, and I wasn't speeding.
Yeah, he was just, for whatever reason, he was looking for somebody to,
I guess,
bag.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
Guy in a sports car, up to no good.
I guess so. And, well, barely a sports car, more like a tiny roadster. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's like most people don't even know what that vehicle is.
I don't know. So what should people do when they get pulled over?
Kill themselves immediately.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just snap that cyanide pill in your mouth.
Have you heard about the new thing now that people like laminate like all their information and just throw it out the window so like they can, it's like cop can read your ID
like
and
it
your
hangs on the
registration.
window?
It's like it's plastic and it's like attached to like a rope so they can't take it away.
No, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone actually doing that here, but I've heard people talking about wanting to do that if
now,
they ever get pulled over.
Is it like a photocopy of the ID, or
well,
do you just laminate?
No, you
your
laminate your driver's license. Yeah.
Okay.
So like you have to show your ID,
Make it
but
kind
they take it back to their squad car to run your information.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They can't do that if it's on your window.
And you're showing it to them.
You're showing them. You're following the law.
States they have to obtain it and walk away with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd risk
sure?
doing that. It'd be fascinating to see that on video, someone trying that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it here anyways. I know it's worked elsewhere, but like actually seeing some porcupine do that here.
It sounds like a great way for me to forge my registration and inspection and stuff, and then just show that shit to them.
Oh man, like
how would you get booze though? That'd be hard.
Yeah, that's
you wouldn't have an ID.
I was talking to a coworker about like how like the cops are harassing me about my damn sticker and they're stealing from me. And this guy goes, "Man, all I do, like I'll send you the format. I just print up a new inspection sticker every year. I haven't get my car inspected in 5 years."
Yeah, because they never look into it.
Yeah, no, they don't actually research it. They just see what color it is.
The registration, they can like pull it up on their system.
Yeah.
Well, they could probably pull the inspection up on their system too, because it's all linked to the state's.
Yeah, I'm sure they could, but they're not going to try to.
So the law says no person while driving or in charge of a vehicle shall refuse or demand of such officer to produce his license to drive such vehicle or his certificate of registration, or to permit such officer to take the license or certificate in hand for the purpose of examination.
What?
Huh?
I guess they
Yeah,
could
what does
take
that-
it
what
in
does that
their
mean?
hand. They just
Sure.
can't.
So I
it's
guess the
tethered.
law says you need to let the officer take it in his hand for examination. I guess
So
that's as far as it
legally,
reads.
if you had to go to court with it,
They could grab the
they
piece
can
of plastic
grab it.
and
They can hold it up.
yeah.
and said
They can touch it.
I took it in hand.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Good point.
They didn't say take it in hand back to cruiser.
That's probably worth someone's time to go to court over.
That's interesting.
It could be. Yeah, because I could see them saying that if it was inside of a laminated sleeve or whatever, that they couldn't tell if it was real or just paper. But as far as the inspection stickers go, yeah, there's definitely, I know of people that have done that. You just go into Photoshop and, change the color, because most people, you'll eventually see somebody with next year's, it's January, so you know what next year's color is,
Yeah.
or this year's color, and you could just very easily Photoshop shit. But I think it's a pretty decent fine if they catch you.
Oh,
But
I'm sure.
Then again, the odds are pretty decent. They might
I got a
not.
misuse of plates ticket, and that plus court costs was $186.
Oh, well, that's about the price of a ticket then, so I wonder, maybe we should just go right ahead.
That is the price of a ticket because it was a ticket.
That's what he just said. He got a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So-
ticket, Andrew, is about the price of a ticket.
Well, that was fun. So, let me take a quick break.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
We're
And
going to talk
what?
about court. Have you had any exciting court experiences?
Not. I will soon.
Okay.
I have not yet.
Well, we could quickly touch on that.
Okay.
All right, fuck the break. Let's just talk about it.
Well, FYI, in like 30 minutes, I gotta go get my co-host from his day job.
So talk now.
Cool.
Go.
So we got 30 minutes to
We
go.
got plenty of time. More
Yeah.
than we need. So,
Stop leaning back, for Christ's
what are you
sake.
going to court for?
How many times have you
Well,
leaned back in your headphones?
It's going to be to
A lot.
fight this inspection sticker. That's a big reason why I'm going to court.
What's your plan?
My plan is to make a YouTube video because I know I'm unless if the cop shows up, I'm screwed. I'm going to get these. I was violating their edict on
you
getting
can't
it.
beat
I can't beat it.
No.
Yeah,
So-
you can't with that attitude. What's your prob?
I don't know. I want to make a fun video out
You
of
could
it.
have Nick be your lawyer.
Uh-huh.
Oh, would you like to be my lawyer?
No,
Oh.
sorry.
Oh, you done with that? That phase
a lot
of
of
your life is
work.
over?
I would still do it, but it's a lot of work, especially I'd have to travel.
Oh, yeah, it is out here.
It's not that far from Keene.
Hour and a half.
Anyway,
That's
when
a
I was
decent
Andrew's
number.
lawyer, I just spent hours a day researching laws.
Wow, that's sad.
Wow. Well,
I didn't have to.
And I
Yeah.
was still right, and he was innocent, but they didn't care.
I'm just gonna ask him, like, where does it, where in the law am I somehow under the jurisdiction of you guys and blah blah blah. I'm gonna have it all scripted. Just keep asking different questions until they finally just give me the ticket. I mean, make me pay it, order me to.
Yeah, like they're going to stop you at some point.
Oh yeah, I know.
The line of questioning and
I'm
all
well
that.
aware. I'm going to lose the battle.
So you're going to ask those questions of the officer
Oh, the court.
of the
Are
court.
you going to testify?
Yeah, I'll testify for myself. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Do you know how court works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah. So,
So-
I'm going to do my more homework before I actually go
Well, they're
up
not
in
going to
there
allow
when
you
I
to
have it
ask
scripted.
questions of the court. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not for
probably
very long.
not.
Not for
Yeah.
very long. No,
No.
they'll shut me up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
shut you
I'll
up
get a
pretty
couple
quick.
questions out, and that's pretty much
And
it.
anything you
or
ask the
made my
cop
statement.
might be is going to be called irrelevant.
Yeah.
Almost anything.
Yeah.
Besides, like,
It really depends
where
how.
were you sitting? What were you doing? Were you erect?
Yeah.
It depends a little bit on the prosecutor because that's up to them to object to. So sometimes they don't know what they're just a cop prosecutor and they don't really know what they're
Or
doing.
sometimes there is no prosecutor and
Because
it's just
they're
the cop.
Huh.
I had that in Vermont.
Okay.
Remember? You were
Yes, Vermont's different. Vermont is not a criminal court. When you get pulled over for speeding, that is a civil case in Vermont.
That's true.
So there's no prosecutor. Well, I
Okay.
guess there still could be a prosecutor in a civil case, but it's not in Vermont. Anyway, so the amount you can ask is directly usually related on how adamant the prosecutor is about doing his job correctly. Some of them don't care or don't know actually what to do when someone like you comes in.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't know exactly
If they're
what to do.
expecting you, they bring in the higher up prosecutor.
See, I don't know if I don't think they'd expect me, to be perfectly honest.
That's cool.
well, you had the bumper stickers.
Well,
True.
here's what will most likely
no,
happen.
no, very true, but like this isn't Manchester's not Keene.
Right.
All right, like where there's like a handful of cops where everyone knows everyone on the first name basis.
Right.
It seems like
Here-
Manchester has like hundreds of police officers.
What will most likely happen is the guy in charge of the cases will come to you before the case starts and say, "It was $100. How about we just make it $50?" And
They might drop it all together if the cop's not there, for example.
Yeah, I'm hoping that.
Well, if the cop's not there, they're going to try to continue it, right?
Not necessarily.
He's going to say, I'm going to put in a continuance with the court, and a continuance is a request, and you object to the request, of course.
Of course.
And the court will grant it.
They could also try and get him to pay right there again. So if the cop doesn't show, they're either going to A, try to continue it,
right?
B, just drop it on the spot, or C, not tell you the cop didn't show and just try to convince you to go ahead and pay.
Yeah, but see, my problem being, it's not like a speeding thing where like it's the cop saying I was speeding or whatnot, or traffic violation. I didn't have an inspection sticker on my car.
He still has to arrive.
He still
I just went through this.
Okay.
This is my most recent court thing. No inspection. Cop didn't show.
And you
I
got
sat
off.
there for 2 hours. They gave the cop all kinds of extra time. He still didn't show, and the prosecutor was forced to drop it.
Wow.
And I definitely would not testify. What's the point?
I don't know. The point is I get a rush from doing shit like that, man.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
I find it entertaining and fun.
it can be.
And it's worth the money. I know I'm probably going to lose anyway, so what am I out? The ticket?
Yeah.
The price of it? Like,
I don't know. What's the evidence that you weren't inspected? The cop saying you weren't inspected?
yeah,
That's pretty good evidence, but it's not hard evidence.
that's true. They don't have like a photo of their own to use. I'm not going to provide my YouTube video to them unless, of course, they watch it, which I'm sure they didn't.
And the reason they want you to pay the second you walk in is they don't want to go through that work of having the cop sit up on the thing and having some chance that he says something stupid and you point it out to the judge and the judge says, I got to throw the whole case out.
Yeah.
Which happened to me. I was very clearly speeding through Walpole one time, and the cop said I was running stationary radar, and I said, no, the cop was running moving radar, the one you were talking about. And for whatever reason, the judge was like, whatever, I don't know what the facts are. You're free or not guilty.
Maybe the judge just didn't want to deal with the case.
He
the
probably
fact
did
that was
not
in
want
front of
to.
him. Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of different judges were like, I don't want to deal with a traffic issue, like some a speeding ticket or something like that.
Yeah,
coming up
but
to
I
them.
think usually
I got into this because I love rape.
usually
Prosecution.
the cops and the judges and the prosecutors, they have a pretty good relationship. So it's always just kind of like
What?
pre-decided before they walk in.
It's almost like they all work together in the same
Yeah.
place.
Like it's
every
all
day.
the exact same thing. There is no.
However,
difference.
I did get a circumstance one time where the cop and the judge were not friendly. The cop expected a different judge, so it seemed,
Oh,
in
interesting.
Vermont, and
Yes.
it was like
Wow.
a fill-in judge or something. And
Substitute judge.
the cop's like, Judge, I request a meeting with you before the trial. And I'm like, I don't like this. And they're like, and the judge is like, no, you can't do that. You can't have a meeting with me in private before the
Really?
trial. Yeah.
Actually,
So
he's
this was
already
actually
off
like
on the
a-
wrong foot.
That's
So
kinda
this was
what
like
happened.
What happened?
a
You
legit
probably know
judge?
better.
The officer asked the clerk of court to meet. The officer first asked the clerk of court, who's the judge today? The clerk told him. He said, oh, can I speak with her before the trial? And the clerk goes, no, you're not allowed to do that. So that's how it went.
Okay. What else happened? I
The,
caved and stood.
the judge came in and told Ian and I to both stand, and we both said, no, we're good,
And Sam.
and sat down. And they didn't care about Sam because Sam was off in the corner running a camera,
Oh,
so they
yeah.
weren't looking at him.
The
But
cop really didn't like
Ian
that.
and I were dead center in the courtroom,
This
just
is the cop who searched me.
not standing for the judge in a courtroom of
I'm there
4
for a
people.
headlight ticket.
It's like literally 4 people. It's like the clerk of court, Andrew, me, and Ian,
Yeah.
and Sam, and the judge, and the cop.
And the cop
And,
really was flipping out about Sam recording for some reason.
Well,
Yeah, he also asked me, like, I had a voice recorder in the room, and he asked me, do you have a right, or did you ask permission to have that? And I said, are you the enforcer of the court rules? Because I don't think so. Because he's not. The bailiffs, or whoever security is the enforcer of the court rules, not the state trooper that happened to come in
Yeah.
to run his case.
And then what happened?
Then the judge came in, so we weren't able to argue any further.
And
Told us both to stand, and we both sat there, and they didn't. And she's like, "Please stand," and we said, "I'm good," something like that.
Did the cop stand?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And they just gave up on it. They weren't going to do anything,
Nice.
so she took her seat.
and then I want to
You-
hear what happens.
you
It's
had
like
your-
I'm hearing it for the first time.
Why?
Because I forget
You have no
this shit.
memory. You
No.
you had your trial. You wanted me as a witness,
I was
even though I
sleep-deprived.
wasn't. This is the trial for the headlight that we talked about earlier.
But I got searched over.
But he got
Okay.
searched over.
Detained
I
for 3
gotcha.
hours.
Andrew wanted me to be a witness in the trial, even though I wasn't a witness to the headlight violation, which is what the trial was over. So he made a horrible mistake. there. Because he called me as a witness, I needed to be separated from the rest of the hearing, so I don't know what happened after that.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Well, that's the end of the story.
Okay. I forgot I called you as a witness. So what I recall is because there was no prosecutor and I had no lawyer, the cop and I could not direct questions at one another. And the judge said all questions have to be directed towards the court. And when questioning, if I, Andrew, am questioning the cop, he has to answer the questions and cannot ask questions back until it's his turn.
Yeah.
So all questions have to be directed at the judge, and if they're valid questions, she redirects them to the cop. So I knew that none of my questions were going to get me out of the ticket, but I wanted to make clear that this guy detained me for 3 fucking hours and searched my car and found nothing and forced me to consent to a search. So I just phrased my questions in a way that she's never going to redirect them to the cop, but they're going to piss the cop off, and it's going to get the point across that this shit happened over a headlight.
Yeah.
So I would ask my questions, and the cop would react. He'd be pissed, and he'd start shouting at me, like not even redirecting it to the judge.
Yeah, that's just going into your playbook. That's just making your case for
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really went perfectly. But I had no case. I had no legal case, but I made that argument, and I just said, so because of all the bullshit he put me through, I really think he should have let me off with a warning. And the judge is like, yeah, you should have let me off with a warning.
Well, there's a
statute.
There's a subsection of that code in Vermont that says for equipment violations,
you can
if
give
they
a ticket
fix
or
it
a
within a
warning.
number of days, it's canceled.
And did you fix it?
I don't know.
Oh,
Eventually, yeah.
I don't think he fixed it within the number of days.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I got you.
So yeah, that was the best court experience I ever had.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds amazing that they get a cop to freak out in court.
Yeah.
Is there a video of this?
Somewhere.
It's on Sam Dodson's hard drive.
Yeah.
Never met
So
him.
no,
Track down Sam
you'll
from
never.
Texas.
So it doesn't exist.
He's building a yurt in Texas to save us all from the aliens, or some shit like that. So no, it does not exist.
So yeah, when you go to court, be prepared to have your trial, which you're thinking about a whole lot, last like 12 seconds.
Oh yeah, I'll have like a
Yeah.
big speech until they cut me off. Yeah.
This is your trial, right? You're sure? It's
Well,
not your
I sent it
pre-trial
out.
conference.
I sent
Oh,
it out.
yes.
I sent it out, so I haven't got confirmation back. I literally sent it out like a week ago.
Okay.
So
what's
I
gonna
Sent
happen?
what out? Sent
The summons or ticket.
The ticket.
Yeah,
Pink
the
thing.
ticket. Yeah, I mailed that out to them.
Did you sign it?
Yes.
Okay.
so you checked not
You
guilty
checked
on
not
the
Not
back.
guilty.
And you signed it.
Signed
Yes, and I
Because if you
signed
don't
it.
sign it, what they'll do is they'll take your license.
It depends what clerk opens the
Right.
envelope.
Yeah.
But I've had my license taken. For
I've not
signing
signed it, and it didn't matter.
it. Really?
I think.
Oh yeah, no, I signed it.
See, they took my license, and then I got a letter like a week later saying, "Hey, if you don't sign this, we're gonna suspend your license."
See, crazy thing in Illinois, if you get a ticket, they take your license, and you have to your ticket is your license until you go to court or,
Wow.
or
That's
whatnot.
really funny.
Yeah, so you're driving around with a yellow, what looks like a yellow pay stub or something like that.
Right.
Well, you
It's
get
like you're on
beer.
you're on
Yeah.
like driving probation.
Yeah.
You have to show it
Yeah,
and
like
be
that's,
ashamed.
I think they're the only state in the union that does that.
Weird.
Yeah, because how do you prove your identity if you're
Yeah, what if
say
you're
buying with a
flying
credit
somewhere?
card?
They
or
must
Yeah.
all have these really fancy ticket
Wow.
printers.
You can get
in
you
their
can get a
cars.
state ID
Jesus
that would have your
Christ.
picture on it. So there a lot
is-
of people
What
in
a pain
Illinois
in
have
the
a
dick.
state ID and a
Or
driver's
use your
license.
What if you get
passport.
ticketed on the way to the airport?
You're screwed.
passport.
What if you don't have your passport because you're just going?
Yeah,
to
what if you're
fucking
just
fucking
you
Detroit?
just
Denver.
have a ticket.
Just always have a passport
Just
in Illinois.
kill yourself.
Good God.
Yeah,
What a terrible state.
that's why I left.
So
Yeah,
just
Jesus
beware of
fuck.
this. So New Hampshire, at least in my experience, didn't do this when I first moved here, and then at some point switched over and started doing this thing. So New Hampshire, you're in criminal court for the simplest of traffic violations. So things work differently, for better or for worse. I think worse. But
Better.
really,
Yes. The burden of proof is higher in a criminal court than in a civil court.
but it's still the good old boys club.
I don't know. It makes them work harder. They have
It
to
does
do
make
more
them
work.
work harder, and your trial is longer and more drawn
And
out.
you have more rights in criminal court. You have
Yes,
rights
you
to the
do.
full discovery. You have to. You can, if you want to, make them work for hours and hours over $100.
yes.
If that's the kind of activist
So
you
you
want to
could talk to Nick for a few minutes, and he'll tell you a few documents to submit and make them do a bunch of work.
Yeah.
But be prepared for this. So you sent your ticket in, you signed it. Now you're waiting to hear back from them,
Yes.
right? So they're going to send you a thing saying, we've scheduled a pretrial conference for you. We need you to come in at this date. So basically what they're doing is going, okay, we've scheduled you and 80 other people at this date and time to come in, and we're going to offer you a plea. Like if you had a larger violation, they would offer you a plea sometimes, but you don't. So they're just going to go, they're finally going to call your name at some point. You're going to take off work, show up, and you get up there, you're pissed off, you're ready to fight your ticket. And they're going to go, all right, I'm the prosecutor so-and-so, and Rob, are you sure you want to plead not guilty to this? And you go, yeah, that's why I'm fucking here.
Yeah.
Well, you could just pay it now and it can go away. Yeah, I get that. Well, you sure you want to? I mean, if you continue to plead not guilty, we're going to have to go to a trial, and, this is a pretty open and shut case. They're going to find you guilty, and they're just going to try and talk you out of pleading not guilty.
Yeah.
And then if you continue to plead not guilty, which you'll do, because you've already gone this far, then you'll wait another month, and they'll schedule you a court date for 5 months down the road.
Yeah.
So your options
So
when
you're
you
wasting a second day.
your options when you get this alert for your pretrial conference is to contact the prosecutor and say, can we forego the pretrial conference? I don't want to show up, and I don't plan on changing my plea. If the prosecutor does not agree to that, you could move the court to say, court, please let me skip my pretrial conference.
Right. The fastest way is to get the prosecutor to agree to it over the phone. Just get him to agree to it and send you something in writing.
And mail it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And say, please schedule the trial and have that mailed to me. Basically, I think you probably already know this. When you're facing the state, you're technically facing the prosecutor, which is another team, and then you've got the court, which is the referee. So if the other team doesn't agree with you on something, you go to the referee and ask him for help.
Yeah.
That's basically how you play the game.
Okay. I'm down for
You
a
can
struggle.
also do things like waste their time, request a continuance, say I don't want to come in, or I can't come in, push it out another month.
And I've had continuances get accepted, and I've had them get denied.
And sometimes you just have to say, prosecutor, can we continue? Again.
Yes.
And he'll just say, sure.
Okay.
I've had prosecutors continue it
I don't really have a
day before the trial.
I don't really have an interest in getting it continued. I kind of just want to
Right.
go to court to get it
Right,
over with.
but if you continue it, that ups the chance of the cop not showing up.
That's true. Or even remembering it, for that matter.
Well, it's not so much that. It's he probably has a handful of tickets lined up. So when they schedule that court date or whatever it might be,
Yeah, does he have to remember anything, really?
no, the prosecutor's going to call, hey, buddy, all your trials are today, or all your trials are on Friday this week or whatever. So he's going to come in and just crank out through all his trials.
And the cop's going to be like, I saw him, he was guilty.
yeah. And
the prosecutor's going to be like, oh, yeah, judge.
murder. Oh, that was the other guy.
Yeah.
But
Whatever, I'm right.
so if you continue it, it increases the chances the cop might not show up. So there's no reason not to continue it, really.
Yeah.
And also, you're pushing it farther out, so maybe he'll forget details about it. Maybe his notes weren't that great when he pulled you over, things like that. So you may be able to get him stumbled up on that kind of stuff.
Okay.
If it happens 6 months down the road, he's pulled over hundreds of other people at that point.
Do you want to know another stupid cheap trick?
Sure.
So in the district court rules, they have to send you 14 days in advance of the trial a list of all the witnesses they want to call against you. They almost never do this. As soon as the first witness is called, you object. The judge says, why are you objecting to calling a witness? I don't know what you're doing. You say, according to district court rule 2B10, the prosecution was supposed to send me a list of witnesses, and I never got one, so I'm not aware of this witness.
And has that been
This
done?
can't be called. It has been done a few times and with mixed results.
Huh.
Just like everything.
But it's
Yeah.
funny.
I mean, they're going
you
to
have
operate.
nothing to lose.
That's very true, and they're going to kind of just operate under
Most
their
likely-
own rules anyways.
Sure.
For
Most
that
likely
matter.
the judge will say, well, if you don't feel prepared, I'm happy to continue it now so that you have more time to prepare for this witness. And then you'll have an option to say,
And they won't
sure,
dismiss the
continue it,
case.
or no, go ahead with the witness. But it's still funny to bring up.
Oh yeah. Well, again, I'm going to have fun with it. I know I'm probably going to get a ticket, so I'm just going to try and have as much fun with it
Right.
as I
And,
can.
and going in and just winging it, doing your own thing, never goes well.
No, I get that. I'm going to do more homework and everything, and have like a whole plan of attack and what I
It just
want to
sucks
do
'cause-
and everything like that.
Like, you should talk to people who've been through it and who've been pulled over, like Nick. What are you doing?
I was stretching.
But
Okay.
yeah,
listen to Nick. He's
other
smart.
People. Like, talk to Dave Ridley. He's been through it. He's done this shit.
I've actually never met him yet.
Nobody has.
He disappeared now.
Nobody's
Yeah.
met him.
Everywhere.
Do you know that nobody's met Dave Ridley? They've only met this lens that sits in front of Dave Ridley's eyes.
He never didn't have a camera in front of his face.
That's very true.
I believe it.
He had hair once, too.
What do you mean had? He's gone?
I don't know where he's at. I haven't seen him in person in some time.
Well, on
He
that
still
note,
does. He still
He
does
still
YouTube
does videos,
though.
yeah.
we should wrap it up. But you
Yes.
should do your best to record everything.
Oh, Shire Dude's going to be recording my
cool.
my whole court date.
Has he submitted a?
I have the
motion to
form. I
record?
have the form for him to submit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let us know because I'd like to attend someone else's.
Oh,
court
when
date
I
for
know what
once.
when I have a court date, I'm definitely going to release it as a like a Facebook event. Like
Okay.
come to my come
See, I
support
never really
me.
did that. I never wanted to make a big production out of mine just because it wasn't like activism. Like it came to me. I didn't go to it.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I get that.
But
Plymouth
just-
Rock didn't land on me.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it was the other way around.
So
All right, you guys cool with
sure.
ending it now? All right,
Puke, end it.
No,
And
this
it's-
is your.
this is the end.
is your thing.
We're done.
we're done.
That's how Andrew ends
That's it.
shows.
Thanks for listening and
Puke.
paying us money.
Puke in the gang.
Go check out rebelloveshow.com, kids.
That too.
Dumbass.
Peace.